Why do MCOs want preferred provider networks? And how does that relate to value based payments? Welcome to the Care Payments Pod. I'm Fady Sahhar, and I'm here with Fady Sahhar, the co author of Value Based Blog and the DEHQ.
Hey everyone, welcome back. As a reminder, the goal of the Care Payments Pod is to have a quick hitting but informative discussion about healthcare payment models and how they affect MCOs, providers, payers, and care recipients. As an advocacy first group, we really wanted to make sure consumers have the best access to information and quality care as possible.
And be sure to check out our new dual-eligible-hq.com for all things dual eligibles.
I'm so excited about that. We have so much cool new information coming out about DE. So let's get rolling for today. What exactly are preferred provider networks and how do they relate to value-based payments?
Let's get back to the basics. Value based payments are a form of providing incentives to the providers so that they can deliver better outcomes and better results while maintaining the total cost of care. So, when we think of the way that MCOs can manage that total cost of care, they have to rely on dependable providers that are able to deliver the services in a high level of quality, timeliness, and at a reasonable cost. So that's what brings it all together.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I can imagine that the higher quality, the more that we want to send people to them. That makes sense. So, how does the interface between value-based payments and preferred provider networks work?
So when you think of an MCO who has a large number of providers, they need to coach them and monitor them and make sure that the quality of what they're doing is being up to par. In that sense, what they do is they want to give them incentives so that that efficiency comes together. And a provider network that's truly a high performing provider is going to be one that allows them to predict the outcomes as well as track them as they progress so that not only do they have opportunities to deliver the results, they're also continuously improving those results. So when you bring the two elements of value based payments, incentivizing providers, as well as working with select providers who are going to be delivering the higher level of results, you know you've got a winning combination.
Incredible. Okay, I can imagine that care coordination it can be a huge challenge, based on everything we've learned. So, it's good to know that PPNs could have that benefit. But what exactly are the benefits to the payers themselves?
So, you have to remember MCOs are companies that are entrusted with managing the cost of care as well as the quality of care. So, at the very basic levels, they MCOs working with high performing providers can avoid unnecessary costs, elements of managing that provider network that would otherwise have non productive expenses associated with it. So they're able to then work with select groups of providers so they can negotiate better rates, better outcomes, better deliverables on behalf of the consumers they serve. And but most importantly, they start to exchange data. They bring together improved data exchanges with people that they are relying on and who can actually deliver that data in a timely manner. Because that's what allows the MCO and the provider network to collaborate on making the results more effective and more efficient.
Okay, that's awesome. So, cost savings, better rates, better analytics. I can see the upside. So, what about providers? Do they see benefits as well?
Well, of course, remember the basis of value based payments is providing incentives for a group of providers who are going to deliver better results. So, a provider who's committed to working with an MCO on a particular program is able to reduce the cost of care for themselves because they now know what the expectations are. They know the test. They know what the MCO is looking for, And so but they also know that when they deliver those results, they're going to receive higher rewards. That's what brings it together. So, but more important, that as we advance in value-based payments, the provider can start to actually share in that savings. You see, remember that continuum of care that we laid out of value-based payments. As we progress and become more experienced with it, we're able to see the results that are able to be shared with the provider. And so let me give you an example of that. If an MCO says, I'm going to give you an enhanced rate so that as part of your measurement is reducing the number of hospital visits or unplanned hospital visits. But I'm going to give you 20% of the savings that I have when those hospital visits are reduced. Think about how motivational that's going to be for an MCO as well as the provider. The MCO is saving 80 cents on the dollar and only paying 20 cents on the dollar to the provider who helped them deliver these results. One day in this podcast, we'll get into the attribution and how providers need to really work hard to deliver results that they can receive attribution for.
Yeah, and obviously, as a country, we're developing in this value-based continuum, right? Some people are further along than others, and that continuum allows everyone to see what the benefits are as they get more and more streamlined with their processes, with taking care of consumers better, which really brings us to our last point.
Before you jump into that, though, because the bridge here is what we're going to talk about how it benefits consumers. But the reality is that providers' third benefit area is not just money; it's good reputation, it's more loyal consumers, more better ability to reward their workers, and therefore they have retention advantages over their competition. So when you bring a high performing provider into a connection with an MCO that allows them to earn those extra dollars, they're going to be able to translate that into a much better business proposition for themselves.
Incredible. I can definitely see all of those benefits. So, as we look at consumers themselves, we've gotten reduced costs for payers and providers, but consumers are going to get better health outcomes, is the goal, right? So, what other benefits can we imagine we'll see for consumers with this?
Well, at the very basic level, a high performing provider is going to be delivering results that create a higher level of satisfaction because the MCO is interested in a high satisfaction rate. So, first of all, they're going to be more satisfied. They're also going to receive better attention because that provider is going to be focused on making sure that they're getting what they want, but also as you start to look at the ultimate benefit here is a better quality of life. The people we serve, particularly in the long-term care environment, we are looking at individuals whose quality of life can be greatly impacted by the way their services are delivered. So it's not only about, getting 2 extra hours of service or having a diabetes monitoring device or any of those, but it's also the fact that they find themselves being healthier, being happier, being able to enjoy a better life on an everyday basis.
Right, just a better overall quality of life, and that comes through that higher coordinated and efficient care that they're getting. So makes complete sense. So what, as we look ahead, let's look to the future for PPNs and VBP and how that looks. What does it look like to you? What do you imagine?
It depends on what kind of business you're in. Obviously, on the physical health side, it's going to continue to progress at a very fast rate. And we're going to see high performing providers come together, form groups like ACOs, accountable care organizations. They're going to come together and form provider service networks like we have in Florida. They're going to organize companies that help them negotiate better with MCOs around those outcomes. And we're seeing many of these at different stages of development across the country. And that's very exciting. because
Yeah,
that's allowing providers to engage in the early stages and to learn about how they can make these things happen. And
I
so
love it.
we see that also over time, cream rises to the top. High performing providers grow and have better relationships, and they're able to serve their consumers better. At the end of the day, that's what we're looking for.
Of course. Yeah, I love everything we talked about. So let's wrap up a little bit. If you'd like to learn more about VBP, make sure to check out the vbpblog.com. And for the latest news on dual eligible, we're launching our brand new effort, DEHQ. Really excited about that. It's going to talk about all things dual eligible, the population, and what they can expect in the next 5 years as a huge change starts to happen for that group. So, Fady, thank you.
Absolutely. This has been exciting. I hope we can continue to delve into these topics. But as always, onward.